Hello, all you hellraisers out there. Now, this is Freethinking102. If you haven't seen the first one, you can either skip to the end of this video or watch it all the way to the end, and the link will be at the end of it. Or you can go onto the page and click on the motivational playlist. I got it set up to where it has multiple playlists, if that makes sense. It's easier to navigate. But with further ado, let's get into our talking point today. Our talking point today is sexuality. Okay, before I get to my main point, I want to describe some terms and some key points in leading up to my big statement about sexuality. So, first of all, I'm going to talk about gender. Okay, gender is two roles, and this it also equals duality, and duality equals rule of two, not like the Sith. But when I mean duality, I mean that there's gender within the universe. Okay, male and female, masculine and feminine. Okay, so when we understand this part of gender, or sex as we would want to call it, gender is just a new way to call sex in my opinion, but gender also relates to the law of nature, natural law, pretty much. And what I mean by that is that scientifically or naturally, you would have two to make another one, reproduction wise, or as you would call it, male and female. With that said, I think that duality plays a big role in the universe and in sexuality. Okay, there has to be two, right? Male and female. This is a little bit different with gays and lesbians. Now, gays, they would be unlocking their feminine side, because I do believe every person, male and female, have a masculine and a feminine side to them. Now, straight men, they have more, obviously, their masculine side is more prevalent than their feminine side, whereas a gay person, their feminine side is more unlocked. And that's kind of like, that's the best way to describe homosexuality as well. So if that's a good description of it, in my opinion. I have other descriptions, but I'm not going to go into detail on that because that's a different subject. Well, not really, but still, it's just not going to touch into that. But anyways, sexuality plays a big role in America's society. When I say America's society, I mean America's society. I don't mean globally, but globally, other countries see it as more of a duality, in my opinion. America's society kind of excessive size sexuality. We see it in music, we see it in porn, we see it in movies, we see it in music videos, we see it in art. Granted, art, I mean, it's different, but you get the point. Those are just some examples of over excessiveness in American society. Everything is over excessive, and overindulgence, so to speak. But I think the best way to describe sexuality is it's a variety. When I think of sexuality, I think of variety, because it's a big, broad spectrum. Okay. And I feel like if you can unlock your own sexuality, you can unlock your own personality, you can start chasing the right people, or the right people will start coming to you once you know who you are, because that's a big part of who you are personality-wise, is your sexuality. And if you are confused, then I recommend you go to either a therapist, or even try to do some spiritual inner searching, meditation. I wouldn't overindulge in excessive activities, like you see that a lot. So with that leads to my main talking point, my main point about sexuality. If someone is offended by sexuality and sexual comments, then that person is probably insecure about their own sexuality. And let me explain what I just said. If someone is offended by sexuality, he or she is probably insecure about sexuality. And this really revolves around, are you open about your sexuality, or do you know who you are, essentially? Because if you don't, then you're going to be confused, and then there's a difference between being uncomfortable talking about sexuality than being offended. Because if you're offended, then you're insecure about your own self, because why are you offended about something that other people do or partake in, enjoy, or indulge in, or even overindulge in? So I'm like, you either know who you are or you don't know who you are. And that's what it really revolves down to, is who are you sexually. And it's not a crime to indulge in sexual activity, but morally overindulging in this excessive and being excessive in sexual activity can be crucial to relationships, to your business life, to your personal life, and just who you are. So just keep that in mind too. But sexuality as a whole is something that people need to really search deep down for. If you're curious about something, pursue it. If you have questions, ask it. Because the questions you don't ask is the questions that you don't ask is the thing that you're missing out on. So think about that. And I think a lot of religions and even schools hold back this, okay? When you have an excessive amount of influence from the outside of school implementing on your kids. So parents, they really need to teach their kids about sexuality at a young age now, because we live in a society where we're influenced and introduced to sexuality at a very young age, and it confuses children. So teach them the ways and the rights and the wrongs of sexuality, and the dangers and the risk, and the enjoyment and the pleasure and the beauty in sexuality. Don't hold back, essentially. That's my thing about that's my gist to parents. But I'm not a parent myself, but that's what I would do if I was a parent. I would tell my child, this is what it is, okay? And let them make their own decision. They are capable to make decisions themselves. Now religion, they tell you back, they hold you back, really, and they really just look at the Old Testament, not the New Testament, and they don't read the whole Bible. They only take one passage, and they be like, that's golden. Or any other religion, really. You got the Hindu religion, you got the Muslim religion, which is, you got other religions that, preach orgies. I mean, obviously there's a risk in that. That's an overindulgence in my, in the book, my morality book. But I would be careful when it comes to that. But you also have, other dangers. Now, that's what I have to say about sexuality. If you want me to make another video, I'll make a separate video. But free thinking videos right here, they're coming our way. This will probably be my last video of this year, so stay tuned for next year. I will be putting some videos as soon as possible. But stay tuned, Hellraisers. I'm going to be putting some more free thinking videos, as well as how to make cocktails as well. I'm figuring out I'm trying to figure out which cocktail to make next. I told you I would probably be making a gin and tonic. I'm working on that myself, but just stay tuned. And comment down below what you would like to see on this segment, and let me know what, your thoughts on sexuality. But until next time, Hellraisers, stay frosty.